The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Welcome all of you to the second class of our data science. And I hope so. I am audible to you guys. Can someone write to me? Am I audible or not? Audible? Okay, great. So we can start the session now. Okay, so once again, as some of you might have joined today who didn't join yesterday, so you guys need to make sure that you are going on to this particular link, meetup.com/Edureka, and then you click on to this particular button, join this group, so that you guys can get around 100 plus free webinars, right, for learning. So there is a lot to learn here. Okay, now let's start the today's session. So many of you might got interested already in yesterday class, and you were looking forward for the actions for doing the practical. So today one more class we will be having, which is little bit more about theoretical stuff. We can say exactly who is data scientist, or what are the works which need to be done by the data scientist, and tomorrow onwards we will see the things into the action. So let's start the today's session, which is who is a data scientist. So agenda for today is we will start discussing with who is a data scientist. Then we will discuss a little bit what is data science, who can take up data science, and how to become a data scientist. And at the end, we will discuss about the skills, responsibility required, with what salary you can expect once you become the data scientist. So who is data scientist? So data scientist is such an engineer who has to do the work playing around the data. So which way he has to play around the data? First of all, we say he has to explore the data. So he will get the data, and before even analyzing the data, he need to explore data first, right? So that he can understand exactly how he need to analyze the data, or even data is correct or not for analyzing the data. So he need to do some pre-processing step initially, and that is what we call as exploring data. And after that, once he explore the data, once he becomes sure the data on which he is supposed to use his skills, and then need to get the results out of, or need to analyze the data, after that he can start analyzing the data. And like visualization, he might do or might use some of the algorithms onto the data to get some results, right? So after analyzing the data or doing the visualization, then he has to take data driven decisions, right? So what is the whole aim for data science or being a data scientist is this only, that you need to work with the data so that it can help you in taking some decisions, and these decisions must be very much helpful according to your goal. If you are working in marketing sector, then you need to think how it can increase the sales. If you are working in a, let's say, in hospital sector, you might need to find out the diseases at the earlier stages as much as possible, and so on kind of stuff, which is helping the decisions, taking decisions individually or reaching to some kind of conclusions. And once you get this, then what do you need to do? Definitely you need to communicate with the co-workers or with the people who are responsible for that, right? So let's say if you're working with the hospital, you need to communicate it with the doctors, you need to maybe communicate with the patient as well, for whose report you have taken into the consideration, and then reach to some conclusion for that particular report. So what is data science? Even yesterday we discussed about it. So again, we can say this is a combination of various fields. So for example, statistic is one of the very important part here for a data science, right? Because you have the data and you are looking into the stat of the data. Statistics help in many steps. Even in the earlier stages itself, it helps. Like we saw earlier, like exploring data is the first step which need to be done. So it helps from the starting onward itself, when you are cleaning your data, when you are finding that what are the noises you have in your data, is your data good or not, there itself you start using the statistics. And after exploring the data, when you are taking the decision, you are applying some algorithm, and many times these algorithms are also completely based on these statistics. So statistic is very important part, and how you are going to use this statistic is by using programming, right? So you're because it's not possible for you to go through all the data and then see, because the data size is so huge many times that it's not possible for human being to look around the data, even to look around just simple statistic and reach to some conclusion. So you need to write some program which can do all these operations on your behalf, right? And can be done in a real time. So we want the results in the real time, right? So there are timelines, there are deadlines which need to be matched, and that is what program is allowing, or the power which it is giving to us, right? So programming and algorithms. So program you are writing for implementing some kind of algorithm only. So we'll be going like yesterday we discussed about, there are three types of algorithm which we discussed. Like one was supervised, another unsupervised, reinforcement learning. So there are different kind of algorithms are there which you might be thinking to implement as you become a data scientist. So it helps, definitely this is the whole aim, that is to take some strategic or data driven decision. So the question is, who can take up data science, right? Is it something, because it looks like, so yesterday we saw there are three things which is making it possible for a data scientist to do the work what he is doing, right? So what those three things were, you might remember. One was mathematics, one was your computer part, and another one was your business part, right? Or in which domain you are basically implementing it. So who can take? So is it required that the person should have all these knowledge completely, or is it okay if they have some partial knowledge and others can be learn on the go? Or is it easy to get, if a person has one knowledge, is it easy to get the other knowledge? So let's see. First of all, IT professionals, definitely, right? Because they have been working with the coding already, they know already programming. So they might be doing very hardcore programming, which might not be that much needed, because there are lots of great libraries or tools are available nowadays when you work as a data scientist, which make the life easier for you. So definitely it becomes more easier for IT professional who has done some kind of hardcore programming. And yeah, definitely it's not like only if you are coder, even if you belong to database field, still it is very much easy for you to switch to that, because the person who works with the database and other these kind of things, they know they have been playing around the data, right? So they know already how to analyze the data. They might have analyzed already data, they might have merged different data together. So they played around many times a lot with the data, right? So IT professional, whether you had been into the coding part or you had been into the database part, your life would be easier as a data scientist. Next is, now we are jumping into the business domain, right? So acquiring just IT skills and all will not be enough. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, like we will be teaching you the algorithms, so which can be learned by all, definitely. But if you are looking for a particular domain, right? Let's say you work as a marketing professional. So, and you are looking to, is it possible that I can use data science in marketing strategies? Then definitely it is possible, right? You just need to learn few programming skills. So that is nowadays, like Python is very easy to learn programming skills, right? So Python has been made is such a programming language nowadays that in many of the fields this programming language is being used. There are people who are like biologists, they are also using it. There are people who work with the videos and all those stuff, they are using it. And definitely data scientists are using it, right? So the language or tools are making the life easier. And because it is for marketing people, or the people who have worked a lot already marketing, it is easier for them to understand the data, right? They might have little bit difficulty in starting days when it comes to write a code. Very few times they might have little difficulty, but at the same time they will have the advantage of understanding marketing data so quickly compared to other people, right? So if you have been from the marketing professional, so you might be already using stat, you might be using already some data to analyze and taking the decision. So again, it is, you can easily take this. So with the finance professionals, right? Because nowadays a whole new domain is there for data science to be used in the finance area, and that is finalytics is coming as a new domain completely, where data science is being used for finance properly, right? So they are showing a lot of stuff related to finance, data science in finance, right? So again, so because they are very much clear about the data, they know very much depth about the finance business, right? So it's pretty easy for them to take many time decisions, which might be little difficult for the people who are from the different background. Yeah, definitely they have to add little bit more skills under their belt, like programming and little bit algorithm part. It's not like you need to become a hardcore programmer or hardcore with the mathematic kind of stuff to really apply the data science on the finance professional, on the finance data, right? It easy to take because tools has been made in such a way, or the functions have such a way, libraries are available which make your life easier. So with the healthcare professional also can take, because we are showing these few of the topics doesn't mean that it is just limited to these. We are showing it because that is how it started initially, and that is it is being used a lot into these areas actually. And not only in these area, other places also it is being used. You talk about the traveling, tour and traveling companies are using it. If you talk about this thing, the name is slipping just from my mind. That security is using these things nowadays, right? It's not only CCTV cameras, but it's the intelligent cameras are there nowadays, which are data AI enabled, we say, right? So in many domain, you take any domain name, and I will make you sure that you can see, yes, it can be used in this industry. If it is, so that is why what you will find that nearly all the industry, whether big or small, they are start using the data science in their companies, right? And that is how suddenly the requirement of a lot of data scientists has arisen, because they know it's not only the marketing part where they need, even in the production also they need the data science. So a lot of places data science can be used, and if a lot of places data science can be used, and because those are the people who can understand that particular data, so they can, by learning a little bit more skills about how to use the programming and mathematics little bit, they can become a good data scientist. So how to become a data scientist, right? So you guys might be already, if you are from IT, then your question might be how I become. If you belong to finance, you might start thinking already how what I have to do so that I can become a data scientist. It is good that it is easier for me to understand the data, but what other skills I need to acquire? So let's start this journey. So we start with the fundamentals, right? So your fundamentals need to be clear, which we will be working on. And after that, after that we say statistics, right? So statistics, as I have been saying, it is one of the very important part, that at least descriptive statistics. You can play, you can find out you can understand what is mean, mode, median, variance, standard deviation, on all these kind of things. So at least that much you should have knowledge, which is going to help you in exploring your data actually, right? And so it is not very difficult part to learn. It's, again I say, it's pretty easy to learn. With few classes you can learn the statistics as well. The required statistics, I will say, I will not say that you become an expert in that, right? But you understand the required statistics, all that what we are saying. Then programming, right? So you definitely need to have some programming language under your belt of knowledge, so that you can apply your thoughts, your logics, your algorithms on the data on which you want to work, right? So it might be cleaning the data, might be your data might have some noises, you might be thinking how to clean that data, or it might be some other thing, might be visualizing the data, again require some tools become completely programming less for visualization, but there are some tools for which you need to have little bit knowledge of programming, right? So this is important part which you need to learn to become a data scientist. Then machine learning, right? So this is might be completely new for all the people, whether they belong to IT field, they have been working, or they belong to different field, right? Everybody has to learn machine learning. Maybe few of you might have studied, who are recently passed out from the universities. Nowadays, universities start teaching very basics of the machine learning. So you might have gone through it, but most of you, if you are the old pal or experienced in IT industry and all, chances are very less. Maybe you might not be doing machine learning stuff, and this is one of the important part. So if you are doing, that's great, but if not, this is the important part, because this is the whole thing which is about the data science. That is, you apply. So this is what we call as a science, right? So science of data is hidden into this machine learning part completely, 90% I say, even though these all other parts are very important as well, but this is which is bringing the science to the data. And after applying machine learning, so machine learning technique, you can think you are making your machine intelligent so that it can take decision, or it can behave like you, or it can learn with the experiences. And then data visualization is very important part, because it helps in many ways. It helps you understand your data, and when you understand your data, you might understand also if there is some anomaly in your data available. You might think too that I should clear those anomaly first of all, handle those things, only after that I can apply my machine learning technique. Or maybe by understanding the data many times, if you know exactly how to visualize the data, many times it happens what result you are looking for, or what problem you had in your hand related to data to solve. If you know how to do proper data visualization, many times it can be solved itself during the data visualization step, right? So that is very important part. So this is what you need to master actually, that is data visualization. And it also helps you to take the decisions of thinking which particular machine learning algorithm can be applied, because my data looks like this way, and for this particular kind of pattern, this particular kind of algorithm is good. So you can start thinking this way as well. And then big data, this is important part, because now the data is going to be huge, right? It is not the simple way. If you have been into the programming, writing simple code, you might not be bringing the parallelism, you might not be using the clusters and so on kind of thing, right? So many places it is required that you know how to handle the big data, right? You need to know exactly the architecture and all those stuff, so that you can work with the huge data, and the result can be given in the required time, right? It should not take a lot of time. So you should know how you write your program so that it can be executed on multiple machines in parallelly, right? And it can take the data, generate data, or maybe communicate with each other, whatever is required. Data ingestion, right? So these, so I should go to even further slides. So data ingestion is, so I will go to here because we are talking here the same stuff. Statistics, programming, machine learning we discussed, data visualization we discussed, and the big data we discussed, right? So big data we have been telling. So for the big data, what I say, that you should know, if you have huge data, right, it is then how you can write your program so that you can still run your analysis on that data and reach to the conclusion whatever you were looking for, right? If you run on a simple machine, it might happen if you have, let's say, terabyte of data, and your machine might have 32 GB of RAM, then it cannot run on the whole data at the same time, right? And there are few algorithms are there which require that whole data should be available there, and you do maybe in the parts, but as much time it will take reading data, putting it back, reading back, putting it back, it might start taking a lot of time. Maybe just reading and writing data back might take huge amount of time, right, which you might not be looking for. So you need to have such resources. And again, there is not like a one resource will work, right? You might think, okay, I will take one huge system with 100 GB of RAM, or 200 GB, or maybe 256, or 1 TB RAM, let's say, right? But again, this is not a good idea, because I think you might be aware about it. As even you start increasing the size of RAM, then its speed also start getting slower, right? So the best way is that you have multiple systems, right? Maybe 32 GB each of these systems on which you need to execute your code, right? So that is, you must know how to handle all those things. Then we have the data ingestion. So what is this data ingestion is all about? Data ingestion is to bringing the data at the right place so that you can start doing the analysis on that, right? So it might happen that data might be generated at one source, then it need to be ingested at the source where the processing is happening, right? So there are many tools are available which take care of data ingestion, but you have to look exactly which kind of source is there which is creating that data, or where the data is stored, and at which kind of place or in what form you are requiring your data, right? So there are many different tools out there. When you study about little bit in detail, then you will be seeing that for different kind of data, for different purpose or for different kind of processing or for different aim, there are different tools which you need to use to ingest your data, right? It's not like you always have your data into the files or stored into a one database and then you are reading it. No, there, and many time it might be coming from many different sources as well, right? It might not be just that it is coming from one source, it might coming from multiple sources. There might be, it might happen that some data is stored into the file system, some data is stored into rdbms, some data is coming live also, right? So you need to understand, you need to use properly these tools, and you reach to the conclusion how you can ingest that data or which tool to use for which particular part. Data munging. So data munging, or we can say data wrangling as well. Some places it is known as the data wrangling. So it is now all about playing with the data, right? So applying the machine learning technique is one thing on the data, but before that you need to know how to manipulate your data, right? You need to bring the data into the right form. The data might not be into the right form so that your algorithm can be executed onto your data. So you need to bring it into the right form, right? So you need to know how you can manipulate your data, how you can transform the data, how you can clean the data. Many times there are noises, like yesterday we were talking about at that. Many times there are a lot of noises are there, right? We need to remove those noises, right? Otherwise, if we teach, it is equivalent. If we teach human being with the shits, what they will give us is the shit, right? But if we give them the really gold, then they will give us the gold. So we want them to give us gold, these algorithm. So that is what we need to make sure that we are really giving them something from which gold can be taken out, right? Or gold can be mined. Otherwise, we will not get the right result, or we will get a lot of random stuff into our results, right? So data munging is very important step, very important actually, and much of the programming part would be going here, right? Applying machine learning technique or visualization technique might be just depending much on the some libraries, right? And yeah, definitely you need to know those courses and use those functions, but data munging will require, definitely again you have the functions, but it will require you to think a lot and try to make the good logics there at these places. So this is interesting part as well, an important part as well. And the toolbox, so there are toolbox which you will be using. There are many different tools are there for visualization, some toolboxes are there for machine learning, some tools are there for data ingestion, for statistics, for data munging. Maybe you might start using different tool, maybe you can use one tool for all, or maybe you might need to use different tool for different purpose. So you need to know what are the tools available to you, and what are their benefits or advantages and disadvantages each of these tool has, so that you can take your decision that which tool need to be used, right? Because it's not only that, it might happen that two tools they can give the same result exactly, right? Let's say visualization, or let's say data ingestion, right? But it might be possible that one particular tool, let's say we are talking about data ingestion, right? So it might be possible, let's say one particular tool has been made to get the data from the file system properly, while other is from for the SQL. But yeah, they can do the other ways as well. But if you use it for other purpose, there might be chances that it might take a little bit more time compared to other tools. So you need to know exactly where, at which point, which tool will give really what you're looking for, right? And data driven problem solving, this is something which is, we can say, analytical, or this is something little bit mind game, we can say, or we can say aptitude, your aptitude, right? So data driven problem solving. So we are going to solve the problem. As a data scientist, you are going to solve the problem, and you are data scientist, right? As a data scientist, data would be given to you. You need to, because you are scientist, you need to use your brain to solve the problem. Now why we are writing here this special as a special skills, data driven problem solving, because for different problems, different statistic technique you might need to use, different machine learning technique you need to use, different visualization you need to use. In some particular data, it is okay if you make the bar plot, or let's say histogram, and in some other problem the required thing might be to draw the box plot, right? So if you are a scientist, then you should know that to solve this particular problem, which kind of technique I should use from each of these part, right? Similarly for data ingestion, similarly for data munging, for different problem, you need to manipulate your data in a different way, right? There is no like one hard rule, okay, you do this, do this, do this. No, it is again an art, right? It is not just, even though we are calling it as a science here, but it is not only the science, but it is art also, right? Which comes as you start solving more and more problem, and you will see that it start becoming easier for you. Even though there are steps which you follow, then it becomes, your life become easier, right? But the people, as you start becoming more and more experienced, then you need to do less and less number of experiments, right? So initially you might be applying 3 4 techniques or 5 techniques to reach to the final conclusion, but as you become more experienced by visualizing the data itself, you would be able to say, okay, this algorithm is going to give me good result, right? And that is what we are saying here, data driven problem solving, that you know exactly how a particular data problem should be solved. Right, so you need to learn all these things. So these are the skills which are required. A lot of skills here. Your brain is small or big. Let's see, can you get all these things into your brain? So let's see exactly what responsibility. So the same thing which we discussed till now, but we are compacting all those things into smaller part, or let's say we are going into the hierarchy at little bit top side. So it would be your duty, right, that you optimize and build classifiers using machine learning. So classifiers, you know, classification algorithm, yesterday we were discussing about, or supervised learning algorithm, right? Even though we are writing here classifier, it means also the any other kind of maybe unsupervised learning could be, or clustering model it might be. So it's your duty that you not only build that classifier, right, or you not only build that classifier or choose that classifier, you should know how to optimize that classifier as well, right? So you, when you will study the algorithms, then you will see many algorithms, there are parameters which you need to tune, right? So as you start tuning the parameters, different parameters start giving different results. So you need to find out the parameters which can really give cool results for your problem, right? So this would be your duty. And processing and cleaning data, as we have been discussing again and again, this is important part, that is data wrangling or data munging. We can say that you should understand the data properly. You should be able to find out if there is any noises there into your data, or any data is missing. Not only you find out, but you should know how you can clean that mess, right? Or how you can change those value into a more better way, or maybe to remove those, you need to take the decision also. Is it better to remove this particular noisy data, or is it better I should remove it with some using some statistics kind of things, right? And many times this become also, it's not like very straightforward first step. Many times it becomes like that, you first visualize, you first have the data, you do some processing cleaning on that, then you visualize your data, and again after visualizing you find out, oh, there is still some noise into my data which need to be cleaned out. And then you go back again to this tab for cleaning, and then you clean, and then again you visualize your data, and then look. So it is many times you need to go back. Sometimes it happens, you clean your data, you visualize your data, then you clean, then you again visualize, and then you apply your machine learning algorithm. And after applying machine learning algorithm, you are reaching to conclusion, oh, still my data is not clean, and again you go back to the step of cleansing, then you clean that, and then you go further ahead and do the things, right? It's sometimes it's like repeating the steps, and some many time it gives you great findings, right? And that is what makes it interesting. Every time you do little bit tweak, you find something new from the data, new insight from the data, and that is what becomes pretty interesting for a lot of people. Actually, that is what people are loving, right? So as they tweak something, they try different thing, and they start getting many different insights, and that is what they are loving about the data. And that is why this is not only becoming the high paying job, but there is a term I will use here, like there had been in the magazines, people are calling that data scientist is the sexiest job in nowadays, right? So that is the reason that what attracts people around this thing. And building predictive prediction models. So once you are done with optimizing and all, then your model is ready. You build it, finally you give it to maybe your client or whoever, or you need to you might thinking to deploy it, you deploy it, right? And then you will be working on the correct data. And data mining, that is finally what you are extracting from your data, right? What results you are getting is, that is what we are talking, that is extracting the knowledge from the data, right? Or extracting the decision from the data, whatever decision you want to reach, right? Many times as a data scientist is not only that you have the data and you work around this, but itself sometimes it is possible that your client come to you and he doesn't have the data but he wants the results. Then what to do in that case, right? Because you don't have data, how you can apply your skills? Then one more skills you need to learn for that. You should know how to extend the data. Extending data means you should know how to find the data. You should be able to generate the required data as well in many cases, right? Many, not many exactly, but some cases, yeah, it happens. Client is coming completely blank way. He doesn't know that what data would be helpful and all. Then your team would be working, or you would be working with their team and allowing them how they can generate the data or find out the data and all. Oops, we discussed about all these spins. So let's go to the next slide. You guys might be sitting for that specifically. What? It's okay, I become data scientist, but what about my expenses? I want to live a life full of luxury. Is it possible that I can get as once I become data scientist? So here you see, if you see the salary, it is here you see normally you will find, if we talking about the minimum salary, minimum around 306,000 is the salary that in India that is being found, right? But it is very rare cases, actually very rare cases. But if we talk about the median value of salary, it is around 6,15,854 around. And if you go to the little higher end as well, then you will find that it is 2 million as well, depending on which company you have been working, right? This is little older data as well, actually, but nowadays even many startup companies start giving the package of 15 lakh 15. I'm not 50, right? Yeah, but big companies definitely giving 50 lakh as well. But even if I talk about the small companies, nowadays startup are also giving to the complete fresher 15 lakh packages as well. Many companies are coming nowadays in such a way, right? So yeah, but if still you have to go by little older stats, these are that you can see all this stuff. For if you go to US, the demand is more higher, actually, that they need more data scientists, more jobs are there. Not only this thing, pay definitely will get higher. So there is around, if we talk about around minimum pay, this is around a $63,000. If we talk about the median, it is around $91,000. And if you go to little higher end, then you will see it is common to find out around $130,000 salary, right? So what about data science, right? Now if, okay, it seems cool, okay, these are fine, I have to learn these skills, but does Edureka really give me these skills, or how, what Edureka do exactly for all these things, right? Is it like something just going through few classes, or is it like making or giving us complete knowledge, information to become a really good data scientist, right? So we discussed what are the required things, the things which need to be done by the data scientist. So is Edureka providing us those things? So let's start with the, let's say you enroll for the program. So after enrolling, the first thing which you will be going through is the basics, that is your Python statistics. So here we have multiple different kind of courses are there. Few of these courses are self-paced completely. You can learn it at your own pace, and there are many which are a little cumbersome, which definitely require the guidance of instructor, where you will find that lot of doubts you might have which need to be cleared, and you need interactive session. That is where you will get the instructor led session. So the initial one, like Python statistics, which are basic stuff completely, like parameter estimation, regression, Bayesian, these things you will study. The statistics, how to do statistic work with the Python, then R statistics. So both of these courses are self-paced. Okay, but now your question might be, what if I get the doubt? Yeah, definitely. Team is there sitting, right? You just shoot a mail to them or you call to the support. They will help you instantly, right? There is a team which is sitting to help you instantly. So you just post your query would be answered very in a real time actually. 24/7 support is available. And then here it start the session which is completely led by the instructor, and that is data science using R would be the first session which you guys will be doing. And in this you guys will be studying about the using R programming language. You will be studying about the supervised learning, naive bayes algorithm, random forest, artificial neural network, right? So here the basics of the data science, not only just the basic actually, but you will be able to start making the models playing around the data. You will be start working on some of the case studies of the data, right? And you will see exactly how you yourself is solving some problem here. You will get some project as well which are real world projects which had been once a problem, or still some problems are there which are in the industries. You will get the data by the team will provide you data on which you would be working, and you will be getting live lectures regularly from the instructor, and you can discuss him wherever you have doubts, or you can also always shoot an email to the support team. Then okay, this is R. Okay, I learned the R. What about if the Python is needed, or if an organization is looking for Python? Then here we have the next course which is completely taking you for Python. So Python for data science, here you will be studying some library, NumPy, data wrangling, matplotlib, pandas, arima model. Arima model is for time series. Actually here also you will study the time series. Here also you will study time series using Python. Here also you will study like supervised, naive, random forest. These things also you will study in the Python for data science, or unsupervised learning also, which is not written. Very few names here had been written on this slide, but there is a lot more topics are included in reality, which you can see by visiting the website as well. In detail way you can look exactly in each of these course which topic are going to be covered, right? So you study this thing. Okay, this is done, great. What now? You say that it is okay that I can work with the data science, right? And just now I said, you might be asking to me that you said just now that you must know how to handle the big data, right? And that is what you're going to have here. Apache Spark and Scala. Here you will study about how you can handle the big data, and that too in the real time, right? So you will be studying the tools like Hadoop Yarn, Spark SQL, Scoop, Apache Kafka, Spark machine learning library. Spark AMLib is this is special Spark library for machine learning, right? So here you will be understanding exactly how you can handle the huge data, right? And these during the data science, this Python for data science and data science using R. During these courses also you will be doing some data visualization, and but not only here, but here a special tool will be taught to you, right? So you will learn a special tool that is Tableau, which is pretty good tool for doing the visualization, and that would be taught to you at the last. But before this tool would be taught to you, the one of the very important topic which is going on a lot, right, that is become the famous one. I will just circle this, right? That is AI and deep learning with TensorFlow. This is the main, you can say, butter of the whole thing nowadays, right? So AI and deep learning with TensorFlow. So here you will find that lots of problem is getting solved quickly by using these tools, right? So even though many places you have to use these, but nowadays you will see many of the problem you will be able to solve if you understand all these things properly. So here you will understand not only how you do it with normal data, you will see how you can play with the images, you will see how you can play with the text data as well, and other things using the artificial and deep learning method with the TensorFlow, right? And as I said you, after that you would be learning the visualization, a special tool for visualization, that is Tableau. And once it is done, then you will be graduated as a data scientist. Actually, this is by mistake they have written this thing. This was not DevOps engineer, definitely data scientist, right? So do not think that you would become DevOps engineer, right? So if you want to be DevOps, you have to choose the course accordingly. So if you choose the data science training, you will be a data scientist. Okay, so thank you very much guys for listening with so much patience. If you guys have any queries, let me know before I finish the session. Okay, Ravi is writing, great session. Thank you for the information. Yeah, welcome Ravi. Anyone has question, doubt, or anything? So I know many of you are looking for the action in the movie. So today also we are not doing any action, but tomorrow onwards you will get full action, right? So you will be seeing stuff using programming and all those stuff we will have here. And let me know if any one of you have any question, query, doubt, any suggestion, or you are looking for what you can write also if something you are looking for in the coming session. Okay, Suresh is writing. Thank you for wonderful session. Yeah, thank you Suresh for appreciating. Okay, great. No query, so I will be finishing this session now. I will be waiting for 30 more seconds. If any queries are there, let me know. Okay, great. So we will finish the session here, and tomorrow onwards, be ready for the action. Come up with the Python install in your system, right? So install Anaconda. I will say if you want to practice this stuff, you can install the Anaconda as well. Let me just write here Anaconda distribution. You guys can, from here you can install the Jupyter notebook. So this is Anaconda distribution, whole distribution you can download. It gives a lot of library for machine learning so that you guys can do the programming as well. Tomorrow onwards you can play around the data yourself as well, while I will be showing you few stuff actions. So let's get ready for action tomorrow onwards. Thank you very much guys for listening with so much patience. Edureka guest is saying good session. Thank you for appreciating. Okay guys, bye bye, take care, see you tomorrow, be on time. Till then, bye bye, take care.